It's always fun working with wild animals, and I am not just talking about my fellow cast members. 1, 2, 3.
We didn't only work with animals. We have the most animals in a movie in show business history. That's how many animals we have.
We have over 200 different animals, over 75 different species.
There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of animals. I mean, it's Noah's Ark. You know, you have to have animals and a plethora.
The past few days, there have been giraffes, alpacas. I just met a baboon.
The other day I came to set and there's 2 elephants walking by, and I'm like, are those elephants walking by? Is anybody else seeing this?
That's the weirdest thing is you come to work and you're talking on your cell phone, and then like a water buffalo goes by. It just like doesn't make any sense.
Animals from all over the world show up. There is no geographic limit on what animals we're using.
I got screeched at by a baboon. There was a lot of pooping on me, there was a lot of spitting on me, and that was just Morgan Freeman.
You can't really hand a script to an animal and say, read this and here's your next line. You have to take the script and put it into something the animals can understand, and that can take an enormous amount of time, anywhere from a week to months, to teach an animal to do a specific behavior. Another huge thing that we do with animals is just get them over fear, because a lot of the animals, especially all the wild animals that we're using on the show, their natural instinct is to be afraid of something like a movie set.
You want to have a trainer specifically that's raised that animal, that knows that animal. So Mark brings in the trainers that have raised these animals, probably dozens of trainers, because some will have, you know, a couple dozen different animals.
The trainers blow me away. I know they must spend hours and hours, and they're so passionate about it, and they care so much about the animals and their safety and how much they can work. They're very patient with the animals as well, which is really cool to watch.
When you're telling a 1,000-pound bear, 2 inches to the left, it's a bear. 2 inches to the left, Mr. Bear, could you hit your mark? Mark has to figure out how to do that.
Hi, this is Chivo.
The main behaviors that the animals have to know on this show is to walk A to B,
Go to your mark. Get on the mark. That a girl.
to stand on a mark,
Stay there. Good girl.
and to hang out with any other animals that they can. Those are just really the basics of what they need to do. But involved in that are a lot of other things. It's not just walk A to B, it's walk A to B up a ramp. It's walk A to B at a certain speed. Even though it sounds very simple, at times it can be very technically difficult.
You think it's hard working with actors. Mark Forbes, the trainer, he has to work with each animal individually, not only as an individual species, but each animal specifically responds to different things.
In order to get an animal to do something, it's good to have proper incentive. Often that's food.
You really got to find something they love to eat. Foxes tend to love chicken.
Good, all right.
Whereas the skunks love cheese. So they get their regular healthy diet, but when they're on set working, they get little pieces of cheese. Squirrels, of course, it's nuts, but they like pecans better than any other nut, so that's what they get when they're working. They get other nuts when they're not working.
There you go. There.
Bears are interesting because bears have an incredible sense of taste, and they like a variety. So you'll see the bear trainer coming on set, and they have 10 completely different things. And one thing will work for a while, and all of a sudden the bear will start losing interest, and then they pull out the salmon. And that'll work for a while, and then they'll pull out the ice cream. One of the hardest so far has been the alpacas, believe it or not. To teach an alpaca to go to a mark and stand on a mark has been somewhat challenging. They don't really care about working that much.
The alpaca would spit, so you kind of had to keep at a good distance.
If they get mad, they just spit on you.
They're not Al Pacinos, they're alpacas.
They're not the funnest, no.
Camels are just kind of stinky. They have really bad breath, incidentally. Camel breath.
Really? Wow.
Really bad. Really bad breath. I don't know if it's necessarily a dental problem that they're having, like a rotting tooth, or whether it's something that's actually emanating from their bowels. The elephants actually were very soulful. There was an intelligence that you could see in their eyes.
They're Asian elephants. Their names are Dixie and Rosie, and They're two of the best performing animals on the show, definitely one of the crew's favorites.
The elephants, too, you can say sort of specific things to them. Rosie, move your right foot. Dixie, get over on the, whatever. You can say things to the elephants and they understand.
I've never gotten to work with an elephant, so that's the first, and we get to high-five an elephant.
We sat there and high-fived an elephant. You don't get to do that every day for sure.
How many people do you know that can just go on top of an elephant? It's pretty cool.
One of the elephants sat on me at one point, and you know what? They are a lot heavier than they look. People are like, where's Steve? Well, yeah, we can see his legs. I was out of the film for like 3 weeks because of that, mostly just due to shock.
You did this to me. You set me up, you crazy son.
If that comes out your front, I don't even want to know what's coming out the back.
The behavior of the animals we wanted to be utterly realistic.
You know, we didn't want any, like, you know, monkeys writing up a contract, you know, handing off, a work order. They do what they naturally can do.
The animal thing started off feeling too unbelievable and too cartoony, but when the organic element of them helping out, an elephant can clearly lift a board, it all started to come together when we had to be like, well, they'll help, but they'll help in a way that's possible.
With one major exception, and that was that we would have prey and predator sharing the frame together.
As you may or may not be aware, the bear will eat the raccoon. The raccoon will eat the pigeon.
So every animal element had to be broken down separately and shot individually.
Action.
We had an entire unit shooting 60 days devoted to nothing but shooting our animals. Piece by piece, animal by animal, one action at a time.
Let's back them up about 2 feet. About a half a go back, please.
And ultimately, all those pieces are layered in and composited to give you the effect that they were all together there at the same time.
I'm not doing this. It's insane. No! Enough already!
We're gonna go back to the beginning. Here we go. And action.
The first week, there was a scene that I did covered with many, many birds.
We had to place birds all over Steve, and then Steve had to act with birds all over the office in pairs.
He had to keep his arms held like this for what seemed like hours and hours. I probably couldn't do it with nothing on it, much less the weight of actual live animals.
Steve's been great. What a trooper.
Birds are pecking at him, and like he's just acting right through it.
Sometimes they flutter around, and we have a bird that flies in and lands on his head.
Let's put another one on his head.
He knew the sensitivity, and it wasn't about him, it was about how do we do this so that we get the best out of these birds. A lot of people don't come with that attitude. They say, I'm the biggest animal in this room. You treat me better than these things, and Steve didn't have that attitude.
Yeah, exactly. Who trained?
Some of the smaller birds can be difficult. Just because they're a smaller bird, a smaller brain, the scavengers are the best. Crows and vultures love working them because they actually have to figure out how to get their dinner, how to, get the trash can lid off and get some food. Or I've seen crows that drop walnuts in front of cars on the road because the cars will drive over them, cracking the walnut.
Get up there. Get up there.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're really, really smart. So they learn very well and are actually very fun to work.
I think one of the things they had not considered is that birds eat and naturally have to relieve themselves. And they chose to wait until the cameras were rolling to relieve themselves on me. And later on, because we had many scenes to shoot with that same outfit, they had to actually put bird droppings on me to make it look, for continuity's sake.
And cut. Fantastic. Fantastic.
2 by 2, animals of all kinds are working with Godspeed to build this ark.
Thank you.
The most fun, definitely for me, was the animals helping build the ark.
Good.
That was really fun because it was a lot of shots that were things that involved training, animal performance, as opposed to just standing on a mark and walking A to B, which sometimes can just get into, wrangling them. That was the funnest because we had some really, really good days and got some really neat shots.
Thanks. Hold it right there. And action on Dixie.
You prep the animal to do it. You get there on the day, you get the butterflies going because everybody's going to be looking at you, and is the animal going to perform? You just have to stay calm because any anxiety that I or the trainers really build up, it just transfers to the animal. You really can't rush them And frenzy never helps an animal get a shot. You just have to stay cool, calm, and collected and shoot it just like you prepped it.
That's good. Perfect, thanks. These animals were highly trained and very competent. I was amazed how smoothly that stuff went. I probably had a harder time remembering my lines than they did doing, anything that they had to do.
Good.
This was actually very true to life. When most arcs are built, this is how the animals help.
Goody cat.
Go, go, go!
You actually get used to just being around the animals, and you sort of take for granted that an elephant is helping you hold up a board or a giraffe is handing you a bucket. After a while, they're just other actors, and we were always instructed to keep that healthy respect intact for them because they're not actors, they're wild animals, and they will kill you. And frankly, the same could be said for the kids playing my sons. Healthy respect, because you look at them the wrong way, they'll kill you. But they had their own wranglers, so we were pretty safe.
We had to constantly remind people these are animals, and there's a lot of ways that this can go wrong. We have to respect their space, give them their space.
We had these baboons, and literally the trainer's like, don't look it in the eye. Don't look it in the eye. Well, what's gonna happen? Well, it'll take it as a challenge. It wouldn't be good. Honestly, I think they're a little self-conscious. I think they're really insecure, and I think they don't feel good about their eyes. So if you look at it, it's like, oh, dude, some dude's making fun of my eyes.
The giraffes can kick.
They can kick in any direction. They can kick when they're happy, and they can kick when they're mad.
Hoof to head, not a good thing.
So you really have to be careful around giraffes, and we did have some pretty strict guidelines about how close people could get to them.
I think people will be amazed at how much the animals really can do and how much is not special effects, whatever the kids call it, the CGI, because they're incredibly trained.
I love them, man. They're like so unique and so spontaneous and so, like looking in the elephant's eyes, it's just spectacular. When are you gonna get to have that experience?
To actually have the ability to be up close, to have a giraffe this close to you, and to be able to look them in the eye and observe them. That was something very unique and something that I didn't anticipate either. And it was remarkable being in such close proximity to these animals. No animals or humans were hurt in the making of this film. I did twist my ankle though.